foil and stain release. Method of cleaning. Then we have retention. How well a fabric maintains its original shape and size when cleaning. Have you ever, if you have to stay behind degrade, they are retaining you. So retention is how well that fabric or that fiber stays the same. How well it is to its original size. Unlike if you wear a pair of jeans for 3 hours and they're already baggy by the time you have gotten up and sat down. You know what I mean? You gotta put them in the dryer again. Very annoying.
So, like, if I buy some pants, like, when I try them on, they fit me, but as I wear them, they loosen up, that's retention?
It has bad retention qualities.
Oh, okay.
That textile, the fibers that make up that textile have bad retention qualities. Yes. Degradation, I'm sorry, I can't say words very well sometimes. Resistance of damage or deterioration to fiber structure because of chemicals, insects, microorganisms, environment, such as light and heat. Sometimes there are things that will, obviously if you get a fiber wet and it just sits there, what's going to happen?
Sometimes it might be mold.
Mold and mildew will attack it. There are other types of environmental happenings that will, like insects, that are attracted to certain fibers that will eat it. Have you guys ever heard of cedar closets or cedar chests? No? A long time ago, and sometimes still today, they used to build cedar chests in houses for really, really fancy types of clothing that moths or beetles were attracted to, because the moths or beetles would want to eat those textiles and those clothes and those fibers. And so in order to protect it, the cedar chests would not necessarily repel, but would keep the moths and the insects away. Have you guys ever heard of mothballs?
Yeah.
That's what they do. They remind me of my grandma. Aesthetics and appearance retention. What do you think that's about?
Like,
Appearance.
how it makes you look.
How the fiber looks. Is it opaque, not see-through, or transparent, see-through? Luster,
Shiny.
which means what?
Shine.
Yep. Then we have pattern, which means repetition. Color, what color is it? Texture, feel the surface. Does it have scales on it? Is it smooth? Then there's drapeability. I know that says it's spelled wrong, but that is how it's spelled right. Drapeability is how well it hangs. How well does something drape? Safety, flammability, how fast something stays on fire, how long something stays on fire, what is left after the fire, is it self-extinguishing? What does self-extinguishing mean?
You could put it out by itself.
Does it go out by itself? We're going to talk about that today. Would you want to make a pair of pajamas for your child if it was a rapid burning, easily ignitable textile?
No.
You would?
No.
No. That means if you had a fire in your house, your kid, the first thing is going to blow up. You think that's a good idea? I'm thinking no. So these are all things that you have to think about when, if you go into the textile or apparel industry, that you need to know. This is background information.
You could buy something like that for your engine.
Yes, you'd probably get sued, so I don't suggest that. Then there's cost. Cost to purchase, maintain, and dispose. That's great if you found something that's completely fire retardant and it won't ever catch on fire, but if nobody can afford it, then nobody's going to buy it. Environmental impact. Impact on the environment during production, use, care, and disposal. If it's horrible for the environment, then the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, is not going to be very happy with you.
And they're going to
And they're gonna what?
I said they're not gonna approve it.
They're not going to approve it. Okay, so now there's a picture on your note sheet of some fibers. And this is looking down under a microscope. This is the structure, this is part of the structure of some of these fibers. Can anybody tell me what it looks like is on A?
Ruffle.
Kind of like ruffles. Anything else? You have to actually look at the picture in order to tell me what's on them. That usually helps. Just an idea.
It look like a tree.
Yeah, you know how the bark be like,
Yeah.
with like lemon tree or something.
Yes? Okay. What if I threw the word scales out there?
Yeah.
Scales. Okay, that's the biggest thing to know. Can somebody read me the name of the fiber underneath? Coarse wool. So it's wool. Look at the one next to that, fine wool. All of the wools have scales. And
Cashmere.
here is an example of some more. Do you see these? You see these right here? All of these are scales. And we're going to talk about why that's so important later. And if you look at your hair under a microscope, it has the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of gross. But. So under A, you need to write scales. Because that's the main point about why it's so important.
Put in the blank thing.
Mm-hmm. For linen, can anybody tell me what it looks like under there?
Same thing. It looks like. Looks like a little scale.
It looks like what?
Yeah, ultrasound. Ultrasound.
What about the next one?
Cotton. Look like a twist.
It looks like a Twizzler.
It look like you know the
Yeah.
DNA thing, the DNA thing that
A helix?
Yeah, the double helix.
It does look like a helix. Okay.
And these look like a pole.
D looks like a pole. Well, D, what is D? Is D a natural or a man-made fiber?
Man-made.
Man-made. So D doesn't have any type of crimp or twist or anything. And we're going to talk about why that is later, but that's a filament fiber.
Oh, yes.
How do man? How do
Easy to tear.
What?
How is it possible?
Are you sure? Okay. So for
Stuff made out of polyester.
what is D?
Linen.
Linen? Okay.
They like
It's kind of hard to see on linen, but there are actually these little bitty nodes. And the best way to describe it, this picture is kind of bad, but hang on. The best way to describe it is like a piece of bamboo. Have you guys ever seen a piece of bamboo?
yeah.
You know those little bitty notch kind of things on there? Well, that's what it looks like under a microscope. So when you, on your test, on like the big test at the end of the year, on the end of the semester, you need to remember that linen always has nodes on it. So you need to write nodes.
N-O-D-E-S.
N-O-D-E-S. And flax is the same name as linen. It's flax before it becomes a textile. And we're going to hear that. Here. Do you see these?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Like this how bamboo is
That.
like with the face.
Oh, okay.
These right here. Those are those little nodes.
Bamboo is with
Yep. For linen. Okay, cotton is a helix. You need to write that for cotton. You're right.
Healing. H.
H-E-L-I-X.
I don't know why you put a U in there.
N-O-D-S. C should be,
Alpaca.
and D should be F-I-L-A-N-T, filament. And D should be a filament fiber. It is completely straight. It is a man-made fiber. Because it's man-made, they have complete control in how it is shaped, the cross-sectional shape, things like that. And that's,
What is filament?
filament is the length. All right.
Oh, not the C.
We have one more thing to go over, but we're going to do this fast.